Close your eyes, stop talking, and listen. What do you hear and see? Words and images. The constant and continuous occupation of the scholastically conditioned human brain. The human brain is constantly occupied, day to night, mulling over problems, lusting after becoming something or another, shadowed in fear. Have you ever questioned why the human brain is ever so incessantly occupied? It is not your brain. You are a name, an identity given to a human being and patiently, societally programmed into one human brain, the brain belonging to the human entity you call me. The brain is engaged in producing this sense of what you called you. Without thought, there would be no you, no thinker. When thought disappears, the thinker also goes. And if this is even possible, when the thinker goes, every problem you have ever held in life also disappears. You go where thought goes. You come where thought comes. Our broken societies do not frequently allow copious quantities of free leisure time for us to pursue a serious investigation into our lives within or without. And we are greatly encouraged by our society to spend whatever free time we have in consuming entertainment. We live our lives and pass into death without any true first-hand understanding of what we are, what our lives were, or what are the true consequences of the death we are all certainly destined to meet. And the main reason, surely, why we never come to such what might be considered essential wisdom is that we are forever, constantly, and persistently psychologically occupied. We are never silent. A brain consistently occupied within its own field of knowledge is a brain without any freedom. Let me repeat that. A brain consistently occupied within its own field of knowledge, which is thinking, is a brain without any freedom. You are not free to listen, look, question anything if you are occupied. And we are, all of us, always occupied. This incessant movement of thought, comprising inner words and images, is the shifting ground the totality of humanity stands upon. When you listen to yourself, you are hearing something very similar to what any and every human being who listens inwardly to their inner chatter will inevitably come to meet. You are listening to the psychological ground of the totality of mankind. The root of all man's actions is recorded past. Have you ever noticed that thought is divisive and can be incredibly disorderly? Thought seeks security and is constantly manifesting psychological insecurity. We fear, we depress, we cry over loss, we worry, and we inwardly live with an anxiety. Thought is division and divisive because thought is memory recorded into the human brain cells, stored there from past experiences. Memory is partial in nature, as are the experiences thought arises from. What is partial in nature is never complete and prone to the conflicts which inevitably arise between conflicting divided parts. When we operate our lives and our societies on a foundation of thinking, we are ordering our society based on the content of a limitation on the total experiences which gave birth to the thought processes the thoughts have arisen from. Thought is a ridiculous faculty to attempt to bring any order to our lives, individually or collectively, because thinking is divisive and limited and therefore conflicting between us in nature. Quick look back now at the war-torn existence of mankind. What has ordered the lives of previous humanity through all our bloodied, murderous centuries? That's right, thought. Think about it. And today, we are being asked to trust our future to the limited thoughts of a limited group of men. What could go wrong? Rather a lot. Thought in each of us is centered in its activity towards the continuity and aggrandizement, a becoming in time of a conceptual self, me. This is what I feel I am at root, psychologically, and this is the very root movement of all of our conflicts, for it is this inner movement which divides me from you, and yet you and every you, including you, have the very same inner movements, a different name, different thoughts, arising from different past experiences. But beyond such superficial considerations, my inner self and your inner self are very similar. In a sense, we are the very same. And because our psychological structure is centered upon this inner self, which is human ego, we never meet each other now in this present moment. We lost connection to this present moment at some point during childhood as perception shifted under the encouragement of education from senses based on relationship to here and now in a universe of eternal creation to an inner past and future conceptual in nature in a universe of words and psychologically generated concepts. Look inwardly. Take a long time to look and listen. Understand you are listening to another as well as to yourself. High to low in this society. This disordered psychological state is the same for each of us. We live collectively in such external societal disorder because we are ever seeking security for this inner conceptual self in time. We seek eternal security, but time is a thought-based invention. This universe is actually timeless. It has but one time, and its time is always now. As we live in illusion to make something of our lives in illusory conceptual time, in a future we have generated within our own brain cells, the human brain has come to be imprisoned in permanent occupation, and we have turned our senses far away from the garden we were born into. Life gave us it all. It gave us food, material for clothes, homes, medicines, clean air, water. It gave us everything we need for a sustained and quality life experience, and it gave us it all for free. And look what the thinking of mankind did with this universal gift. We have soiled our own nest. No one else, no God is coming to save us, for no God can be bothered to heal for mankind the damage he has inflicted upon himself. We are orphans in this universe. Orphaned we are from where we are and what we are and when we are. We live internally in concepts, in language, in symbols, and in the past. We seek completion in a future which never existed, and we have closed our empty hearts to the beauty, colour, life, death, and shadows of now. We are a lost race. What road leads a man to where he has always been? This is the road man needs to find. What journey begins and ends now? This is the journey we need to take. What quality of life will be found when we kiss the cheeks of death? This is the life we need to find. For it is only when we have drunk from the dark waters of death, only when we have brought that which we were, which is what we are and what we shall ever be, unless we end to an end, that we will come to meet the beauty, the joy, and the limitless bounty of a life lived without psychological continuity and accumulation for its own sake, that we shall come to find a life free from inner words and images and the desires and fears they naturally generate. Beyond the conceptual delights of thought, there lies a universe of life, love, beauty, death, and holiness. To meet this wonder, you must become it. It is nothing, and this nothing is what gives birth to everything. It is whole, and so holy in its completeness. You meet this wonder when you find silence in your life, and silence comes with the complete cessation of thought. When the past dies, which is the movement of thought, the present comes to manifest in life. Be patient. Listen to every sound, inner and outer. This activity sharpens the brain. Listen to every inner movement of thought. Never judge, never control, never run away. Listen until you listen so completely that in the total silence of your complete and absolute awareness, you come to find you have disappeared. Then, and only then, may you come to find a life without inner self, and your heart will be filled with a never-ending joy. And at that very moment, you will hold within you the birth of a seed of a new mind of humanity, free from inner self, free from the corrupting inner self-interest which so destroys our lives. This is the revolution. This is the reset desperately needed to build a new world. It is you and I who will build a new world. Who else? The war-causing mind of thinking is not up to it. It is you and I. Only first, we have to, if we see the seriousness of our communal situation, negate completely the continuity of inner conceptual divisive educated self. And if such a thing is even possible, we may come to find that the ending of this societal conceptual identifying success time-bound seeking approach to life was all which ever needed done. It is a free mind which is needed to build a free world. Your free mind, my free mind, our free mind. Best get to work. It is getting late in the day and the night is coming and it is approaching fast.
Who is responsible for all these terrible things that are going on? Not only in the technological world, which is becoming more and more complex, such tremendous advancement, computer, the robots, the missiles, the submarines, all that's what's happening. Great surgery, medicine, all that. Looking at all this, one asks, not only what is one to do, but also who is responsible? Who has brought this about? The chaos, the confusion, the utter misery of man. And this society in which we all live, this society is corrupt, immoral, aggressive, destructive. And this society has been going on for thousands of years, modified or primitive, but is the same pattern being repeated thousands of years upon thousands of years.